Can we have Surah Al-Fatiha for Albaneen and Fatima Zahra alayhum as-salam? You can tell me why we ask Fatima Zahra and Albaneen for Fatiha when we do Fatiha for them. What's happening there? Why do we do Fatiha for them? Yes.
They were both the parents of Imam Hassan and Hussein and Albaneen.
Yes, they were both looked after, Imam Hassan and Hussein and Sayyidah Zainab. Yes. But what is the significance of us reading Fatiha for them? I will tell you throughout the talk, inshallah, today. So today we will look at this amazing personality, which is Albaneen, the mother of her sons. Now, this woman is not ma'soom, but I found her to be a very interesting personality to look at because she's not ma'soom, but she achieved. So she's like us. She's flawed like us, but she was able to achieve great heights of achievement only because of her love and dedication to the Prophet and his family. So she's a person just like us. And that's why sometimes looking at role models who are imperfect is also good and easy, and it's a good experience for us because we can learn from them, because we feel we can reach their position maybe. All other personalities we look at who are ma'soom are also amazing personalities, but they were created infallible. They were created not to make mistakes, but the personality of Albaneen is really unique because she was a woman who was fallible, who makes mistakes just like us. She was not ma'soom, but because of her sincere devotion, she was able to achieve such a high position. So let's look now closer at her life for a very short while, and then we will look at her as a mother. Imam Ali alayhi salam, he has told his companions that good manners prove a pure lineage and excellent family origin when considering a spouse. He was looking for a wife. After the death of Fatima Zahra alayhi salam, years went by where he felt he needed to have a woman to care for his children. But he knew what Imam Hussein alayhi salam was going to sacrifice. He knew that he needed brothers for this Imam, this great Imam who was sacrificing his life for Islam to reach us. So the fact that we are all Muslims right now, on the day of Arba'een, the 40th anniversary day of Ashura, 40 days after Ashura, is for us to acknowledge the amazing achievement of Imam Hussein when he sacrificed his life so that we can still be on the right path. Now, for him to do this, Imam Ali alayhi salam knew he needed a brother, a support, or brothers and supporters. This is when Fatima, daughter of Hizam, comes in. He was the chief of the tribe of Kalb, and they were well known for horsemanship, heroism, and courage. Aqil, the brother of Imam Ali alayhi salam, told Albaneen's father, he told him Imam Ali alayhi salam would like to marry your daughter. And her father went to her mother that day or that night, and he went and told her, he said, do you find Fatima, our daughter, qualified enough to be Imam Ali's wife? It's one of the great honors to be the wife of either the Prophet or his family. It's a great honor, something that brings great joy and pride to any family. But he was cautious enough because he wanted to make sure his daughter was up to the very difficult task of being the wife of Imam Ali in a position which was controversial, a very difficult position that he was in at that time. and an important one, which you can't make mistakes in. His wife said, "Oh Hizam, by Allah, I trained her very well, and I have prayed to Allah to make her happy." How nice it is for a mother to be so confident, talking about her daughter. We all wish to be in this situation where we are so confident. Inshallah, we all will have the same confidence with our children as well. So she was sure she can do it. They come from a very noble tribe. When she came into this family, even though she was young, she knew what she had to do to serve them very well. This was the key to her success. She wasn't just devoted and dedicated, but she had the knowledge and sensitivity to deal with a very difficult situation. She was dealing with some children from her husband's previous wife, who is none other than Fatima Zahra alayhi salam, and she had to look after his children, who were in a also very difficult situation, mourning. They were young and mourning the death of their mother. She had to fill this gap, but she had to fill it in a sensitive way. She couldn't just walk in, jump in and take the reins. She was very sensitive for the situation she was coming in. Again, this reflects her knowledgeable or her wisdom in the situation. One of the things was she asked her husband not to call her Fatima, for his children not to feel bad when they heard her name, the name of their mother. So he changed her name to Albaneen. The very day she moved into Imam Ali's house, she found that Imam Hassan and Hussein were both ill, and she immediately took it at that moment to care for them very closely, very, very sensitively, and in a way that made them only fill their hearts with happiness. And she tried her best in all situations to reduce the pain of the demise of their mother. But she'd done it in a way that she did not erase her existence, the mother's existence, by no means. She honored it, but also tried to fill the gap that she had left behind at the same time. She also prioritized the family of Fatima Zahra alayhi salam always consistently throughout her life above her own children. She even loved Fatima Zahra alayhi salam's children more than hers. Now, this doesn't make her a bad mother to her children, but she is a woman who loves the Imam of her time, dedicated to serving him and loving his children. This is why she cared for them more than her children, because we have to care for our Imam to such an extent more than what we own, more than ourselves even. And she achieved this. Her unsurpassed dedication continued throughout her life. She was a stepmother. Now, you know how stepmothers always have a kind of negative connotation or negative impression, but by no means was she negative. She was a very positive personality in their lives. She was knowledgeable, had high strength of belief. She taught her children, her 4 sons, Abbas, Abdullah, Uthman, and Ja'far, how to selflessly serve the Imam of their time. And she taught them through her actions, not through just words. And she was unwavering in her support for them till the end. She was the mother of heroes. Once, on the day that the news came of the death of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, a man came to share this news with the people in Medina. And when she saw him, when he came to tell her the news of the death of her children, she came to him and she said, "Oh Bashir, what news do you have of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam?" He told her, "Your 4 children, your 4 sons have been martyred. Now would you think At that point, you would start crying, you would be upset, you would react to this news. But no, she insisted. She said, no, tell me about Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Don't tell me about my sons. It's Imam Hussein I want to find out about. And he was very resistant, or he was very careful to give her this information. But in the end, when he did, she said, she started to cry, and she said, I wish my children and everything in the world were ransomed for Imam Hussein, that he would survive. She wished to give everything in this world away just so that Imam Hussein alayhi salam would remain alive. This is her dedication to, she cried for Imam Hussein alayhi salam before she cried for her sons. This is a woman who really understood the value and importance of standing with our Imam, serving our Imam above our needs and what we love. Now, Albaneen was buried in Medina, and this is, if you go to Mecca, inshallah, all of you will go to Hajj or Umrah, you will see her grave there in Jannatul Baqi'. There she's buried far away from all the other areas, all the other graves, and they've stopped anyone from being able to go and cross to her grave. So you're not able to actually reach next to her grave. She's always very far away. They changed this in the last 10 years. And it's very interesting. Now, we mentioned people today, we just did Fatiha for Albaneen. People do this all the time, and you hear it all the time. It's based on the fact that when you give her, she has earned such a high status with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He has given her a power, shall we say, that when you give her a gift of Fatiha or food that you cooked or anything, you give her the gift of those hasanat. In response, she will give you help in your life. There is one sheikh, there's many people, normal people in our life, they will all tell you that Albaneen has done amazing things for them. Here, for example, here we have Sayyid Muhammad al-Shahrudi. He said, when I face trouble, I recite 100 times salawat and for Albaneen, and after that my problem is solved. Salawat. And just to point out, before we go away from this slide, it's very interesting when you see how they have isolated Albaneen's grave compared to all the other graves in the Baqi' cemetery, that they are afraid, they fear a woman who had died. They still fear her after her death. They wish not to send her followers or those who love her close to her. I wonder what they are afraid of. Subhanallah, what a woman, what can she achieve just by bringing this dedication in her efforts? She brought sons to support the Imam of their time. She also has a strength over the government of Saudi Arabia that they are afraid to even allow her followers or her people who love her, who want to connect with her, they are afraid to bring them near her. This is the amazing impact of a woman who's doing something we all do, and she's mothering. She's a mother. It's a natural position for all of us as women that we do in our lives. But she did not a great job, she did an exceptional job for some of the most important people that exist on this earth, because from Hadith al-Kisa we know our whole existence is based on these 5 under the Kisa. She served them so well, she was able to achieve such a high status. Now her most enduring and important lesson we can understand from her as a mother who brought up the children of an imam and also her children, is that she taught and she showed her children how to serve the Imam of your time, through her actions and her words and through her teaching. You should value them more than you value your life. And she was successful. How do we know she was successful? Because her sons actually did this. They gave their lives for the Imam of their time. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. What about us? Are we achieving the same exceptional levels of parenting that Albaneen achieved? Let us see. We will go now through some points that will help us through the hadiths of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his imams, that will guide us for us to know how to do a better job. I'm sure we're doing a good job, but inshallah, Allah is always there to assist us, but inshallah, through the knowledge and wisdom of the Prophet and his family, we can maybe fill the gaps that we may have in our parenting. Now, we're in a difficult situation at the time now that we're at. So far is one of the most difficult times to parent, whether you're in the West or anywhere else in the world. Albaneen was also in a difficult time where the Ahl al-Bayt were marginalized, were pushed aside, away from their deserved positions, and they had to teach the next generation the truth of this Imam, the truth of these amazing lights that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought us to light us our way and guide us to the right path. Motherhood now, in the time we are in, it's a very difficult position to be in, because it is not celebrated or respected within the capitalist system of the West at the moment. You feel shy to go out with lots of children. People come to you and look at you, you're strange. I've had many times women come to me in the store and say, oh, you have 3 children, 3 girls. Okay, yeah, I have 3 girls. And it's very strange to be a mother, and increasingly so. And increasingly so difficult also to be a mother who's trying to preserve the belief in Islam in her children also. I grew up in the West, I don't know, 40 years ago or 35 years ago, and the time then is a much different time than we are now. It is much more aggressive. There is certain forces within society that are always fighting against those who are bringing children into the world. I will explain in more detail. On the other hand, Islam gives so much importance and respect to women as mothers. Very different picture to what the West presents and what the Islam does. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put heaven under the feet of these women who bring up their children in his way. This is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put mothers in society. But in the West, this is not the case. There is always criticism, and there is the concept of the perfect mother and not fitting with the concept of the perfect mother, and very, very harsh harsh criticism. This can sometimes have a negative impact on us ladies who are trying to do the job. It's a difficult job, and it is more difficult if you are feeling disheartened and unsupported by society. In addition to this, us as women are encouraged that if you want any value for who you are, you should have a career. Motherhood is not any value to who you are, and you see many women, and myself included, were very eager to get out of the home, seeing it like a prison, trying to escape the responsibility of motherhood, to go into the career of where you can put a number to your name, a salary to your position, and say, I am this, I am this position, I am this position within society, because for some reason within the West, a mother is not contributing when she's at home with her children, but she is when she's in the office. This is different in Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had created women for a specific role, to be the center and the heart of a family. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes for a woman to be that beating heart that is alive, keeping all the elements in her family together and not to leave, because a capitalist society needs more workers to support the economy. We're always told, or we always are comparing ourselves to men as women. But why are we comparing ourselves to men? We have the position where heaven is at your feet. Why do you want to step away from that? It's a tough job, but it's a rewarding job, and a job with great honor. We, men, may build bridges, they may build institutions. We build people. We build them from the ground up. No one can come and fill in this job. No nanny, no man, no institution, no school, no government. What you are doing is exceptional. You are heroes within yourself. But what's the problem is we don't have support and we don't have guidance sometimes, as we are in a very difficult situation living here in the West. Now, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, Prophet Muhammad, long time ago, he was amongst his companions and he looked upon some children playing in front of him and he said, woe be upon the children of the latter days, from that which their fathers will do to them. He said fathers, not mothers, so fathers listen. And the companion said, are their fathers polytheists? And he said, no, their fathers are believers. However, they do not teach their children anything from religious obligation. And whatever they do teach them, it is for the transient world. It is for dunya. They only teach them that which allows them to get by. So they tell them, okay, go pray and fast, and that's it, it's enough. Indeed, I am not from them, nor are they from me. He talks about the latter days. This is the time we are in now. This is who we are now. We have families, Muslim families, who find Islam to be a secondary importance in the lives of their children. They are well-meaning. They wish good for their children. They want their children to be successful, and they're doing it out of love. But because of misinformation, they push their children to do things that are for dunya. They build them up for dunya success, but they do not build them up for akhirah success. This is the problem. This is what Prophet is quite harsh here. He's saying that I am not from them and they are not from me. Such is the importance of bringing up our children in the path of the Prophet. We are on the day, or the 40th day after Imam Hussein gave his life away. For him to preserve our religion, to keep it within its pure form that his grandfather brought to us, and we have some Muslim families or some Muslim parents who are not grateful for this sacrifice and think it is more important to guide their children into their profession, their career, their studies, but religion plays a second role. In my father's and my grandfather's generations in Iraq, not here, not in the West. In Iraq, they were telling their kids, don't fast because you have a test tomorrow. Don't pray, khatiyya, you know. So it's not just a Western problem. It's a problem for Muslims all over the world. We're going through such struggles, mainly because of the ignorance that is so pervasive now in our communities, our Muslim communities. We cannot really blame it too much on the outside. We blame it on our cultures are not giving enough information to our parents. The parents, we need to help them, we need to aid them, we need to guide them, help them go in the right direction. They are building people, these new families. They're building these leaders for tomorrow. Are they well equipped for the future? Do they know how to build? If there is any failure on the part of these parents, number one failure goes on the society or the community. Primarily, before we blame the parents, we need to educate them, support them. So let us talk about the challenges that we are facing now and in our present day, but also look at the hadiths of the prophets at the same time to give us direction. Now there is a campaign that is consistently running, eroding your parental rights as we speak, living in the West specifically. This eventually, the plan is eventually the whole wide world, but for now, they are applying this now. There has been, since the last 20 years till now, a very slow, and before that, very slow, but consistent removal of your power as a parent. There is a book called The New World Order by Ralph Epperson, who researched extensively within government records, within lectures, within articles, and so on for 25 years or 23 years, and he wrote this book. Some people may regard this as conspiracy theory. Okay, everyone has an opinion, they can keep this opinion, but you cannot deny that what is written in this book in the 80s is now being applied now. This is what is written. The New World Order will be that parents will not be able to raise their children. The state will. Eventually, the state wants to take over how we teach our children. Have you felt as a Muslim parent, have you felt when teachers talk to you, they find you an inconvenience in the way that you are bringing up your child? I have. In my kids' school, they have a camp where they take them away for 3 days or whatever, and they do things and they come back. I have told them many times, my daughters do not go on these camps. I have low faith in what you are able to do. It's okay, I respect what you're doing, but I will exercise my parental rights not to take them. They insist and they call and they harass you because they want you. And they want you to listen to them, and your opinions are an inconvenience to their plan. For example, this is just a simple example. I'm sure all of you here have examples, but anyway, we will go into that later, but parents are being undermined consistently in school and in the education system in terms of looking after their children. This New World Order, which is to be established eventually, very, very slowly, is that parents do not raise their children. And in the point of religion to be outlawed and believers to be either eliminated or imprisoned. This is very aggressive words. This is why people say this is just a conspiracy theory. But we can see this type of action actually being presented now in our time. In Ottawa, they had a very, very horrible sexual education system that was pushed very aggressively by some reason by democratic groups for the Ontario schools. It was, if you see the details of how they wanted to teach the children, you will be amazed. They want to target kids of the ages of 6 and 7 and tell them things that they shouldn't know until they're much older. And within this, there was a plan also to have no parental consent. So when I tell you that this is the plan, I know many people say, oh, this is just, no, it's happening, but very slowly. They know you cannot push these kind of ideas until you prepare. And how do you prepare a society for this? No one wants to let go of their children. No matter what they believe in, no one wants to let go of their children. Here it says, the United States will play a major role in bringing it to the world. You do it through media. We all know how strong and how effective the media is in brainwashing the masses. We've seen it in their attitude towards Muslims. We have many articles that come up with very strange, questionable ideas, which are softened within the wording of the article, but nonetheless trying to undermine the importance of parenting within society. A nation of bad parents. Oh, our nation is all bad parents. We need a nanny state. They call it a nanny state, where the government brings up the children. Do parents even matter? It's Newsweek. Do they even matter to children when they're growing up? And then you have the concept of a bad mother. Recently, I'm seeing there's a lot of people saying, yes, I'm a bad mother, and yes, I am a bad mother, and everyone is like trying to embrace the inner bad mother of themselves. All this is subtly undermining the position of a mother in the family. And I mentioned before that women are now being encouraged to leave the house, the home. Look what it says here. All women will be employed by the state and not allowed to be homemakers. They won't be allowed to stay at home. They need everyone on the ground. When you take the mother out of a family, this is when you have a family out of control. The woman is the heart of the family. She's the beating heart. She's able to sensitively feel if there's something wrong with her children, with her son, with her daughter, with her husband. And she's able to fix those problems. But when we take her out, she is overwhelmed. She's doing more than she can, and she drops the ball, and then she becomes, what does she become? She becomes a bad mother. What happens? What do you do when you have a nation of bad mothers? You have to have a nation of nannies to support those, and so on. And so we have destroyed the family unit. We have also seen over the years the destruction of the family unit, where once marriage meant stability, meant commitment. Now it means it is oppression. This is the concept of marriage now within our society we live in now. We don't believe in this, but unfortunately the general population, if they do, they will destroy what you yourself, us as Muslim, are trying to achieve. The other thing here, we saw it also in the group, is Islamophobia. It is a campaign. It is not by accident that all of a sudden the media has decided to draw every Muslim in a very negative picture. It's not by accident. It's not coincidence. There is a campaign to achieve a final result. So the media has been, I say for the last 20 years, because I've seen it. I saw since 9/11 what happened till now. I can see a consistent negative, very aggressively negative, and in some cases even lies being told about Muslims in such a way that we have now established that everyone who sees you as a Muslim on the street, they will have those pictures and that information in their head, whether they try to believe in it or not. The information is there. They have successfully brainwashed societies against Muslims, and all over the world. All over the world. We've got Muslims struggling. The Rohingya Muslims in Burma. We've got Muslims in the Ivory Coast being killed and destroyed. We've got Chinese Muslims now being placed in camps. They are taken away from their homes, placed in camps, and forced to leave their religion. We have now Muslims all over the world, in Yemen and all over this, Muslims attacking Muslims. We have a very, very difficult situation to be a Muslim right now, and to be a Muslim in the West is also difficult. In France, they have banned the burqa. Now they want to ban the chadar. I read now recently an article, they want to this abaya, when you wear the abaya, even this they want to ban it. After the abaya, what do you think they're going to ban next? The hijab. Yes. Girls in France, for years, they cannot wear even a long skirt because they consider it that you're trying to be modest. And so we stop you from coming to school wearing a long skirt. Can you imagine? We are reaching Kazakhstan, a Muslim country. They didn't let any girl wearing hijab come into the school to learn. I saw it a few days ago. Kazakhstan is a Muslim country. They banned all the students who want to come and wear hijab and come to the school, they banned them. They say, we will not educate you. The girls actually, interestingly enough, they themselves, they said, we will not remove the hijab. Their parents are begging them, take your hijab off, go and study. The girls themselves, they said, no, we will not. And they did a demonstration outside the school. This is Kazakhstan. So it's coming around the world. All of this is no coincidence. There is an underlying plan to destroy all religion, to make way for a new religion. I will not tell you what the new religion is because it will freak you out. So we have Islamophobia in all the media around us, in everything. You've seen it. You are targeted, whether directly or indirectly. This is the face they make you look like. You're like some kind of barbarian, you're scary, you're a fanatic, you're a terrorist. All these words are now applied to who we are, like this guy here on that. We are being labeled, and we have no choice. We are not able to fight against a worldwide media campaign which is supported by all the news. And by the way, all news agencies and all media companies are owned by only 5 or 4 people around the world. All the media of the world is controlled by 4 or 5 people. If these 4 or 5 people agreed on something, they will achieve it. The same story will be played throughout all the channels. So, what do we do? This is a big problem we're faced with. We have the world basically against you. And we're living comfortably now. I don't know how comfortably we will live as time goes on, because it's increasing, it's not decreasing. So what can we do? What can we do to guide our beautiful children, these beautiful young children who have the nur of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and his family, salawat? What can we do to guide them? They are pure, they are clean. We've done a great job. We've done what we can do. Is it enough? What do I need to do? Make sure I do that I can succeed. Sometimes you do a lot of work and then you achieve nothing. So it's important for us to know what to do, and then we can be more efficient in our effort and be well directed, well targeted. One thing Imam Ali alayhi salam told us is don't force your customs upon your children and do not raise them the same way you were raised. They have been created for a different time. What this hadith tells us, sometimes this hadith is misunderstood by some people. Some people say, well, this hadith means I don't do anything. I step back and let them have fun. No. It just means that based on the requirements of that time, you adjust your parenting to match the requirement. Okay? So what it means for our time now is for us to be the perfect parent. If we were imperfect, we are going to have to try our best to achieve a position where we are able to cover all the gaps in our parenting. It is not easy. It is not easy, but inshallah we can do it. But we have to be more, we have to see, we've seen the dangers. We understand the dangers that we are facing right now. When you see the danger, you become more focused and you wake up. Inshallah, this is a talk that woke us up, inshallah. At home, a good home environment is very, very important. An environment where love reigns supreme is what is your strongest weapon against anything outside the home. Prophet of Islam said, kiss your children as much as you want. Some people say, no, I'm spoiling them. No, kiss away, kiss thousands of kisses. He said, Allah will advance your position in heaven by one stage every time. Okay, so now what we know what to do. We're gonna do a campaign on our poor children. Okay. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam said, because of the profound love that parents have for their children, Allah will include them in His mercy. Now, we can love our children a lot, give them and tell them how much we love them, how much we care for them, pay attention to them when they come to talk to us. They want to tell us something, they want to share something from their life. We have to be focused. And I know my kids are going to look at me, yes, from now on I will drop the phone and I will give you full focus. Not, you know, oh yeah, that's good. No, I will be more focused, inshallah. Same, inshallah, for all the parents involved. We need to just do a little better. Give them more of the attention. The only thing children crave, and they are not, how do you say, they are not satisfied ever from, is your undivided attention. The more you give undivided attention, the more they will gain and fill their cup, especially in the first 7 years. The first 7 years are crucial. We'll go into that in a minute, but especially the first 7 years is their happiness, is where their happiness is established. If you're able to fill their cup to the brim, then you have a child who's able to emotionally deal with whatever they can deal with. But don't be extreme. What does this mean? Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam, he says the worst father is one who exceeds unreasonably in the love of his child. I myself, being a teacher for Madinat al-Ilm school for so many years, I have seen children who have never in their life been disciplined in any way at home. No discipline at home, which means they are very difficult in class because they are not able to follow an authority, because parents haven't established their authority on them. Everything they wanted, they give. Everything they want to do, they do. And they have not established a relationship which is a healthy father-son or father-daughter or mother-daughter, mother-son relationship, where choices are made by the parents and not everything is given to the children. I read an article the other day. It said one expert, after some research, one expert in psychology, I forgot his name, he said that of the demands that your children ask from you, you should, at a healthy level, answer only 25%. Only a quarter of what they want, you should give. I don't know if we, if we are able to achieve this. It's very difficult. This is for you. Why is it? Because when you give everything, they have no ability to be patient, no ability to make do and deal with the problems and struggles that will come ahead of them in their life. Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says, whoever is an egoist and is self-centered will be confronted with a lot of difficulties. So whatever child you think you will spoil, you have actually destroyed his future by making it very difficult for him to work, to operate in with his entitled personality. We need wise parenting. Use love and affection in education and upbringing. This is from the Prophet of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And don't have access to cruelty. Don't be cruel, because a wise mentor is better than a cruel one. And our children, mashallah, are very intelligent, very clever children. So Imam Ali alayhi salam says the intelligent person gets guidance through politeness. The intelligent child will accept polite guidance. It is only the animals that need to be corrected with beatings. Also, we have, to our positive strength, is that our children are born Muslim. In the Quran, in Surah Al-Rum, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, be devoted to the upright religion. It is harmonious with the nature which Allah has designed for people. Islam is harmonious with the nature of us and our children. The design of God cannot be altered, which is why you see many people who are not Muslims struggling in their lives, whether they're in an environment which opens chances of abuse to them, families which have alcohol problems, families which have problems with abuse in many different directions. Alhamdulillah, Islam, you children, young people, you don't know how lucky you are to be in a family, a Muslim family. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has eliminated a lot of the struggles, lot of difficulty through parents who are so honorable and follow such a high value of living. They are born Muslim. The Holy Prophet as well says every child is born with an Islamic nature. They are born Muslim. But later on the parents might make them a Jew, a Christian, or a Zoroastrian. What he means is that by nature we are all born in submission to him through the last prophet. So this plays into your favor. This is good for you. These people outside want to change their nature. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said it will never be changed. They want to change what religion they are, what their belief system is. They are already born in what you need them to be. You just need to guide them. Now let's look at the knowledge that we can give them. Firstly, you need to get there first. Acquaint your children with religious teachings of Islam before the disbelievers get to them. There is a very narrow window that you can use to instill belief in your child. I will come to that in a minute. Teach your children from our knowledge. This is Imam Ali alayhi salam. Our knowledge, the Shia Islamic knowledge, what Allah will help them with so that those who have gone astray will not affect them with their opinions. Our children have fertile hearts. They absorb everything, especially in the first 7 years. They will absorb any information you give them. And not only that, the Prophet says it will stay like stone in there. It's like engraving on stone. It will never be erased. Especially the first 7 years. And the next 7 years also, but more the first 7. Like for example, having Quran on, reading you yourself. You don't have to read Quran you don't have to force your child to read Quran. You read Quran. They see you reading Quran every day. They themselves will pick up this habit even without you telling them. But you have to know how to do this. I can't give too much detail. I've only got about maybe 5 or 10 minutes left, so I have to run. Salat. Teach them salat. If you teach them salat, this is one of the great supporters for you as a Muslim parent, because the salat, if they do it properly and they do it with good attention, they will be able to avoid bad deeds in many different ways. Here the Prophet said they teach them by 7 they have to pray. Boys and girls, not just girls. So those with boys, your sons should be praying at the age of 7. He even said that you need to punish them if they are not regular. Very important to establish salat at the age of 7. And you have to make them understand and love these beautiful lights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the reason why we have been created, why the whole world has been put together. Love your Prophet, teach them to love the Prophet, his family, and the whole Quran. So basically the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, salawat, and the thaqalain that he gave us. Fatima Zahra alayhi salam also brings us a good point. She says, you may have a father and you may have a mother, but you have 2 fathers that you have also a responsibility to. As a child, you have a responsibility to care and guide and love and follow the Prophet and Imam Ali alayhi salam. They will guide you to paradise. We have to instill this family into our children's hearts. Okay, so this is very important. The 3 stages of growth that was articulated by the Prophet and the Imams, all of them repeated this information. I collected it in this slide here. Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq, look at what he says. This is very scary. He says, let your children play for 7 years. The first 7 years, he's a master, let him play. And keep him with you to learn for another 7. If he succeeds and has belief, that is good. Otherwise, leave him, there is no good in him. So that means belief is born in the 2nd stage of Islam, of his life. The age of 7 and 14 is a very small window. 7 years, this is where you start to establish belief, because his intellect has now begun to form enough for him to understand what his religion is, between the age of 7 and 14. He says after this, if he has no belief, leave him. There is no good in him. Which means, and I say this, why I say this, because I have seen so many parents come to us in our school crying. They are crying, these women. And they are telling me, my child is 15 and he knows nothing. Come teach him. And we tell them, okay, sometimes we're like, well, we can't really teach him because our structure is working on this structure here. And they say, they beg us and cry and all this, and we say, okay, fine, well, let's teach your child. Bring your 14 or 15-year-old, we will teach him. And then he never comes. Because at the age of 14 or 15, this is where independence begins. And this is where, as a parent, you don't have the strength or the ability, or shall we say the authority, to guide him anymore. This is a natural psychological development. At the age of 15 or 14, they are now making their own decisions for themselves. If you have done your homework before the age of 15, that's great. But if you lost it between 7 and 14, you have lost your opportunity. It's very scary, very difficult. When I read this, I was like, oh my God, I hope we are able to achieve this. When they are at the master stage, they said they are allowed to play. Doesn't mean they don't learn anything though. We teach them akhlaq, basic of akhlaq, and these are all based on hadiths I found, and I just put them together like this. They need to know how to say the kalima at 3 years old, 4 years old, they need to say salawat. They need to know the basics prayer, the basics of prayer at 5 years old, and they should be praying at 7, fasting at 7 as best they can, and having a rigorous religious education at that point. At the 14 to 21, we just need to guide our young people into the more deeper basics of the religion. And actually, in one hadith of Imam Ja'far Sadiq alayhi salam, he said, teach them the issues of halal and haram. So we need to know fiqh. They have to teach them fiqh. They need to, if they need to, also other things in their religion. They should have learned it before, but the fiqh is afterwards because it's more complicated. I'm going to go very quickly through this, okay? But wasting time, very bad for young children. So those young people who are playing around for 8 hours on games because they finish their homework, it's not good. Imam Ja'far Sadiq alayhi salam, he says, I want you to be in 2 states, either learning or teaching. Nothing else. Anyone who wastes his time, in the end, he says he's going to hell. Imam Ali alayhi salam said, the one who is addicted to play will not be successful in his life. I have seen this. Not only that, it stunts the development of children. I will not go into the specifics because I'm running out of time, but high stimulation of electronics, especially at a developing brain that is still not established fully yet, destroys their ability to focus, ability to have an ambition, to think of anything. Here's Steve Jobs. He did not give any electronics to his children. Silicon Valley, their parents, they raise their children tech-free. They're the ones who brought us the iPads. We buy iPads for our kids. They don't give their kids iPads. They know something we don't. There is a serious impact on our children's brains. The sooner they get addicted, the more difficult it is for them to achieve anything in their life. I have seen this in the children that came to us. And online dangers, either actions which they'll be following the wrong type of influences, they will be contacting the wrong type of people, they will be looking at the wrong type of images for boys and for girls. How do we know what they're doing in their bedroom? Before, we put our child in his bedroom and we know he's safe. Now the child is in his bedroom, we don't know what's happening. He has the whole world in his fingertips. I see so many parents, they buy an iPhone for the child who's 7 years old. They don't need the iPhone. They need to go outside and play. I'm not going to talk about the importance of friends right now because I have run out of time. Maybe I'll go very, very quickly. Okay, I'm just going to talk about this. At the age of 15, children leave the sphere of influence of parents, and they exist in the sphere of influence of their peers and friends. They follow their friends, they follow their peers. If you have picked good children, good friends for your children, they will guide them back to you. If you have picked bad friends for your children, they will push them way out into the society that is fighting you. Once a mother, she came to me and she's again crying and she said, my son, he was so good when he was 14, now he's 15, he's so bad. I said, okay, let's try to understand what the problem is. I understood that he has a bunch of very bad friends. Very, very bad friends. I told her, why did you allow him to have these bad friends? She said, I didn't realize this is the impact of his friends. Yes. Your job here in this hadith, Prophet says it's your job, your responsibility to pick some good friends for your children. This is the final point I'm going to end with. As parents, what is our goal? Why did we have children? Is it because everyone told us we should have children? Is it because it's enjoyable? Because to be honest, it's a lot of work. Lots of hard work. Yes, it's very rewarding. It's a lot of hard work. What's the point though? Why do we have children? Why are we bringing people into this world? Imam Ali alayhi salam, he knew what his goal was. Imam Ali and Albaneen had their children specifically to be supporters of Imam Hussein. He specifically chose a woman from a brave tribe, where they were well known for their bravery and honor, that he had children from her so that she can bring children who became men who were brave and honorable and good supporters of his son, Imam Hussein, to stand against oppression. This is his goal. This is his niyyah for his children. What is our goal though? What is your goal? Why are you having children? The new generation will be candidates to serve the Imam of their time. Who's the Imam of our time, guys? Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Are you priming your children to be his supporters? Just like Albaneen primed her children to be the supporters of their Imam, are we doing the same? Are we telling them, this is why you're here in this world? Are we giving them the goal in life? Because if you have no goal, I've seen children with no goal in their life, they achieve nothing. There's children who are taught from when they are very small what their goal in life, they will achieve. You can achieve your goal as long as you have articulated it and you work towards it. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.